This tutorial assumes you have basic knowledge about gates. If you'd like a video on basics of gates, kindly drop a comment below. Now, introduction to DELDSIM. First, we head over to DELDSIM, DELDSIM.com. In here, you're required to register with your own account if you have none, and after doing so, you need to log in. There we go. Now, from here, we will need two resources: the circuit tutorials and the trainer kits. Firstly, we'll head over to the trainer kit and come back to the circuit tutorials later. Inside the trainer kit, you'll see three main sections: these, and these. Now, these are the input lines and these are the output lines. In between are the ICs that we are going to modify. Think of these input lines as switches and think of these output lines as bulbs. Like switches, you can turn them on and off. And if wired correctly, the bulbs on the other side are going to turn on and off. This is just a simple configuration where I have connected this switch to that line. You can do this on your own by firstly removing the connection that I made, then clicking on the input line and then dragging it over to the output line. Turn on the power and then beep, boop, beep, boop. Easy as that. This is a connection where I have all the output lines connected to a single switch. If we turn on the power and then turn it on and off, that is what happens. This is a connection where I have all the switches connected to one output line. So either of these switch should do the trick. You turn on the power and boop, 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 boop. It works like that. You can have any combination of these. The possibilities are really endless. And in between these things, these 5 components are what's called ICs, and this is what we will mostly be working with. Now, there are a few basic gates like NOT, AND, OR, XOR, NAND, etc. etc. And an IC is basically just a gate, or more accurately in this scenario, 4 gates. Whoever was making these ICs thought that adding only one gate would be a huge waste of space in this big component. So they added room for 3 more. Well, it generally alters depending on the IC, but usually it's 4 gates of one kind. Now this is a diagram of an AND IC. You can see there are 4 gates, but what does this mean? Well, you see these lines leading into the gates, these are called input lines. And you see these lines leading out of the gates, these are called output lines. It usually goes like this: 2 input lines and 1 output line. Each pair of input lines have their own corresponding output line. That means if I add signals and wires here, I cannot get the output from here. I have to receive it from its corresponding output, which is here only. Now let's configure an AND IC gate. Now for the AND IC, I have my diagram open right over here, and what I want to do is that when I toggle these 2 switches, my bulb over here should turn on. Now to get the diagram of the AND IC, I need to go into circuit tutorials, scroll down to the AND gate, click on show the circuit diagram, which is this one right over here. And now let's start configuring it. Well, firstly, there are 4 gates. I can use any of these. And I am quite liking this gate over here, so I am going to use the top left one. Now, A1 and B1 are input lines as these are leading into the gate. And Y1 is the output line. This is leading out of the gate. And as I said, what I want to do is receive 2 signals, check if they are on both at the same time, then send the corresponding signal of that, which is if they're both on at the same time, then the corresponding signal will be on, which will be a 1, otherwise it will be a 0. To do so, I will take my first input, click on it, drag it over to this. I will take my second input, click on it, and drag it over to the second input line. 3 is my output according to this diagram, and I drag it out and I put it on the bulb. We are not done yet. We need to add the IC of AND. So we click on add IC. I'm using this one, so we click on that. We need to find the AND IC, AND IC. Oh, there it is. Click on that. Add the IC. Having done so, now we can finally start it. No, we can't. There is one more complication. Every electronics needs to have positive and a negative terminal. The positive terminal is always supplying electricity into it, and the negative terminal is always letting electricity out of it. The positive terminal is called the VCC or voltage. The negative terminal is called ground. If we look into this diagram, the top right one is the VCC or voltage. That is, this is where the positive terminal's electricity should flow in. And the seventh one on the left side in this IC is the ground. All we need to do is connect the VCC to its corresponding diagram heading, connect the ground to its corresponding diagram heading, and now we can finally power it on. My electricity is coming to the VCC, electricity is flowing through the ground. I turn this on, nothing happens, but the orange line indicates electricity is going into this terminal. Let me turn that off and turn this on. Again, nothing happens, but orange light indicates electricity is going into that terminal. When I turn both of these on, voila, we have our AND gate IC configured.